Now let's look at how we divide. Fractions, of course. We know how to divide numbers. We did that, and we looked at a certain concept of dividing numbers where we want to know division, not in terms of equal sharing, but equal grouping. And if you remember, we were trying to find out how many groups of 2 fit into 8. And that's what we were trying to answer when we did equal grouping. That's the concept we'll use in fractions. But first, let's just review this. How many of these fit into this? Well, there's 1, there's 2, there's 3, and there's 4. So 4 of these fit into it, and that's your answer. But what if I add one more clock here? We now have 2, 4, 6, 8, 9 clocks. How many 2s fit into 9 clocks? We know 4 of them certainly fit into 8 clocks, but how many fit into this one, the 9th one? Let's put it up here. Now, how many of these fit into that? How would you answer that? It's certainly not one of these. One of these is 2 clocks. So if I say 1, it means 2 of these clocks fit into this. But what if I say half of this? Won't half of this fit into that? See, it fits perfectly. So we can say half of it. So altogether, we answer this question, how many of these fit into 9 clocks? We would say there are 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then half of this fits into this one, right? Like that. Half of that fits into that. So we'll say 4 and half of them. That's your answer. So how many of these fit into that? 4 of these, and then half of this fits into that. That's our answer. So if I look at 9 divided by 2, the answer would be 4.5. Do you get the idea? Very good. Let's try another one. Now you can answer this question. How many of these fit into all of that? Who can answer that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Definitely 5. But how many of these fit into this? Somebody's saying 2/3. Yes. 5, all of these are 5, and then how many of these fit into that? Well, this is about this much. What fraction of this fits into this? Well, 2/3. So we'll say 2/3. So the answer is 5 whole and 2/3. If we want to find the answer of how many of these 3 fit into this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 2/3 of this, 2/3 of this fits these 2 there. So we've got how many? 17 divided by 3. The answer is 5 and 2/3. But using a very simple understanding of division in terms of equal grouping. So how many 2/3 make 4 wholes? We can answer that in exactly the same way. How many of these fit into that? Okay, let's try. How many of these fit into this? Okay, so let's split this into thirds first. How many thirds would we get out of these 4? Because we want to know how many 2/3 fit into this. So let's break them all into thirds. So each one of these makes 3/3. So 4 times 3 would make 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 times 3. That would be 12. Now this is a little awkward going underhand and trying to multiply it by 3, which is written below. If we flip it over, it's just easier to think about it. 4 times 3. See? Multiply it right across. Instead of multiplying it underneath to the 3 that's below, flip 3 over, you multiply it right across 4 times 3. So that'll be 12. That'll be 12/3. Okay? So the answer is 12/3 first. All this makes 12/3. Now how many 2/3 fit into 12/3? Well, how many 2/3 make 4 wholes or 12/3? So we can see, let's look at that one. 1, 2, and then these 2 here makes a 2/3. And then again, another one here, another one here. And then these 2 make another 2/3. So how many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So how many 2/3 make 4 wholes? It's the same as asking how many 2/3 make 12/3, which is like saying 12 divided by 2, which means the answer would be 6. Do you get it? That's your answer. How many halves make 2 wholes? Okay, you can figure this out yourself. How many halves? Break this into halves first. Split into halves. 2 times. That's right. So 1, 2, 3, 4. How do we do that? This way. Again, we're going underneath to find multiplied by 2. You may as well turn it over so you can multiply it by 2 directly, honestly, entering by the front gate, not the back gate. So that's 2 times 2, and the answer is 4. So it's like asking how many halves make 2 wholes. How many halves make 2 wholes is the same as how many halves make 4 halves. So 4 divided by 1 is 1, 2, 3, and 4. That's 4 divided by 1, which is 4. And that would be 4 divided by 1, which is 4. Notice. So how many halves make 2 wholes? 4 halves make 2 wholes. Now this is turning out to be more and more like common sense. How many 3/4 make 3 wholes? So 3 divided by 3/4, that's how many of these make this. Okay, let's break this into quarters. We break this into quarters, split into fourths. 1, 2, 3. So 3 times 4, isn't it? So we multiply it this way. Again, it's underhanded. It's kind of sneaky. Why not just flip it over so it's easy to see it this way? 3 times 4, that's 12. So let's write 12. So that's 12 quarters or 12 fourths. And how many 3/4 fit into 12 fourths? That's what we are asking. How many 3/4 make 3 wholes? 1, 2, 3. Or the same as how many 3/4 make 12 fourths? So divide 12 by 3. And your answer is, of course, 4. This will fit in one of these there, another one here, another one here, that's 3. And then these 3 make another 3/4. So the answer is 1, 2, 3, 4 of these fit into 12 quarters. And so the answer is 4. A bit of practice with this and you'll get the hang of it. So we'll look at it more deeply, and in part 2 we get to practice some more about how we can make it into a very simple, easy to understand approach. So far you've understood the concept. Stay with it, figure it out with other drawings, and we'll see you in part 2. Take care. Bye-bye.